Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be doing F1 2019 Career Mode Part 5 at the Spanish Grand Prix, and as you can see we're loading out of Azerbaijan, I believe, or maybe back into it to get our resource, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, if you haven't seen the last race, of course, go and check it out before you watch this one, or if you missed any of the races, go back and watch them. Because I'd say they're definitely worth watching. There's been some decent races, and yeah, also check out the co-op career series me and CJH Gaming are doing with each other, where we're trying to return Ferrari to glory, sort of how they used to be, but of course doing it in the 2019 cars. But as we start doing it, they win back-to-back races, which is a bit weird, but. Anyway, go out. As you can see, yeah, we've loaded into Baku, and we're going to go and load into the Spanish Grand Prix weekend. And yeah, so here we are in Spain. We're going to have a look at our messages. We've got goals update, a weekend preview, developments completed. We've got our ICE durability put on the car, the second upgrade. Have a look at the championship since we're 10th in the standings. I didn't see where we were in the constructors, but it's not really important. We've had a 7th and 11th and 9th and another 11th there. We're 7th in the constructors as Toro with 8 points, I believe. I've got all the points so far. Albon has done nothing for the team so far. We're gonna have a look at the engine. We're gonna change the engine or change the ICE. I think, because it says I think only 43 laps left before the ICE blows up, but. Yeah, I'm not sure if we put it in or not. I don't think we did. I think we're just going to run with it for practice 1. And then we're just going to change it in between practice and qualifying to make sure we get the most performance out of it. And yeah, so here we are for practice.
It's practice time here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, as we head out for the Spanish Grand Prix. Soon enough, the teams will be heading onto the track for what will no doubt be a really interesting day of practice.
Alright, so a little quick introduction there, but we're going to go to we're going to completely skip through practice. 390 resource points, putting that up to our total of 792. Our reputation and sportsmanship or showmanship line, so yeah, and now I believe we're going to go into qualifying. No, we're not. That is a complete lie. We're at the end of practice 2 now. We finished P11, and yeah, so overall a decent result. Could have been better, could have been worse, but now we're gonna go into qualifying. And hopefully we can have a good session, get through to Q2, and maybe even into Q3. That'd be ideal, but we'll have to see what comes. And hopefully Albon can actually back us up this time, instead of just staying out of the points. Hopefully he can get some points in the constructors to move us up as a team. But yeah, we're going to get our resource points and everything from Q2, and we're now going to go or have a look at our messages that Emma and Jeff have sent us. Our team goal and the weather forecast, which is going to be dry all weekend, which is good. And we are now going to head off into qualifying, where hopefully we can get a good result. And yeah, hopefully that will lead on to a good result in the race. And yeah, that would be ideal.
You join us today at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, for what's bound to be a really hectic qualifying, as the teams compete to set the best lap times. The competition is certainly heating up as we head into today's qualifying. Some impressive times showing up during the previous practice sessions. Anthony Davidson, do you think we can expect a similar level of skill to be showcased during today's qualifier?
Well, I certainly hope so. The competition here is extremely tight, and I think we might see some very close times today. Remember, practice isn't just about fastest lap times though, it's about optimization, it's about ratifying your decisions. No one's going to be sweating small mistakes here and there, but in qualifying that all changes. You need to nail that perfect lap or face the consequences, and believe me, that's a lot of pressure.
Right, so here we are then for Q1. We're going to go out on the soft tyres, trying through. We're going to come around the final corner at the end of the session. There's 2 minutes left before the whole session closes. We're going to open the DRS and we go P18, I believe that said. Am I right? Oh, P15. So we just scraped through into Q2. We get the last position that goes through to Q2, which was very lucky. So that's a good result for us. Our teammate actually got knocked out in Q1, which is a bit unfortunate. As you can see there, quite a few of the front runners on medium tyres, apart from Hamilton, which is interesting to see. I thought they would have tried to keep them for Q2, get through Q2 on the mediums, but anyway, we can see the drivers have got knocked out there. When they're coming to the line in the end of Q2, we went out on another set of softs, and we go P15. So P15 was the place where we got in Q1, and that was we didn't get any higher than that, which is a bit of a shame. But it is what it is, and as you can see there, well, as you could briefly see there, the drivers that got knocked out in Q2, excluding me, because I'm not special enough to come up on that screen. But next is the race, so hopefully we can have a good race from P15. Obviously not the best starting position, but hopefully we can make something of it, like many have in the past. What in real and in games realistically. But yes, we're gonna get our rivalry breakdown, skip everything, because we don't particularly care about that at this moment in time, or when I recorded this. But it's gonna be a dry race, which is good. Having a look at our contract there and our goals and everything, our rivalry, which we're both, or we're leading both, I believe. We're going to change the gearbox, are we? Yeah, I think we're just gonna change. Yeah, we're gonna change the gearbox, and we're going to change a couple of the engine components, maybe. I'm not quite sure. No, we're not. But we're going to go straight into the Spanish Grand Prix.
What does the Spanish Grand Prix have in store for us today, I wonder? I hope we see some tight wheel-to-wheel action down the main straight, circa Mansell and Senna way back in '91, or maybe we'll have a more strategic race here on a track where overtaking can be difficult. The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat this weekend. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Now, I want to ask you about Lando Norris. As with all the drivers at this level, they have a lot of ambition, but Formula One's a daunting step up from any other series, so expectations are high right from the start.
And this is something that has ended the career of many a young driver, as that leap up to Formula One proves to be too much. But luckily in this case, I'd say they're doing a good solid job, and the risk the team took in signing them is definitely starting to pay off.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, and Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Magnussen, and Sergio Perez. Norris, Grosjean, Devon Butler, and Stroll, Crofty, Faber, Alexander Albon, and Kimi Räikkönen. Russell and Robert Kubica takes the last spot on the grid. And now...
Right, so here we are then on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix. We're gonna have a look at our strategy. We're gonna up our fuel, put a bit more fuel in the car. We're gonna go mediums to hards, I believe, and hopefully we can get a good result with that strategy. But here we are, 4 or 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go for the Spanish Grand Prix. We're gonna get a good jump on Stroll. Butler and Grosjean going side by side ahead of us, but Stroll's gonna get in their slipstream and probably go past us again. Yes, he will, because that straight line speed of the 4C is absolutely ridiculous. We're going to try and go around the outside. We get blocked off by Norris, I believe that was, and pushes us a bit wide, and we get overtaken by Stroll once again, but we sort of push him a little bit wide, and we're trying to go around the outside of him at turn 3. I don't know if he's still on our inside. I don't think he is. No, he's not. So we've got past Stroll, and now we're going to look at trying to get past Devon Butler, our old F2 rival, that took us out in, well, this is the track that we actually had to, well, we had an engine issue, but we dived past him. We're trying to go at the inside of Grosjean, but he completely squeezed us off the track, so give him a little bit of squeeze back. We're now running up into turn 7, 8, and we're going to go up the inside, are we? We're going to try and hold it up the inside, we do squeeze him out, and we're up into P12. And next up is Lando Norris. We go a bit wide turn 9, lose the back end a little bit, obviously with heavy fuel. Not really used to this car on heavy fuel at the time of that recording, but still. Now onto lap 3, we're going to try and go up the inside of Lando Norris into turn 1. We're going to go up the inside, we're going to squeeze him out, and we get the position up into P11. And next up is Kevin Magnussen, going on to, well, someone's retired. My screen has glitched, but someone has retired. And now we're going to try on lap 5, trying past Magnus. We fake to the inside, then to the outside, and back into the inside again. And we make him lock up actually, so we get that position 4-3. But that was a very good move, sort of reminiscent of Sebastian Vettel on Valtteri Bottas, I think it was in 2017. But now coming on to lap 11, we're trying to hold off Sebastian Vettel when we were in P2. I believe most of the front runners have pitted. But now Vettel, he's got a lot more pace on those fresh mediums compared to our old mediums, and he's going to fly up our inside. We're going to let him through, and we're going to try and maybe stick with him, but he's actually ran a bit wide and he's lost a bit of time to us, so we're going to go up his inside. We're going to force him a little bit wide, try and keep the position. This is a very good battle here between us and a way faster car than ours. We're going to try and stick with Vettel, try and stick with the slipstream and the DRS. I say that as our DRS breaks, but we're going to try and stick in the slipstream, try and get him to carry us along and try and jump a few people that were ahead of us before the pit stop. Now coming on to the end of lap 13, we have Gasly right behind us. We've lost touch of Vettel, which is a shame. He also has fastest lap, but now Hamilton has pitted, and we're going to get ahead of Hamilton, but now we've got to try and defend from Gasly too. There's Hamilton there on the right, and then Gasly's going to go onto our right now. And Gasly goes up the inside. We're going to try and hold it around the outside. We can't. We just don't have enough grip on these old mediums compared to everyone else's fresh mediums, which I believe they're going to run to the end of the race. I'm not quite sure. But now coming on out of turn 9 on lap 14, we tried to stick with Gasly, we couldn't. And now Hamilton's got to run on us around the outside into turn 10. We just let him through because there's no point fighting a Mercedes. There's just no point in it because they're way faster than us and we'd get past eventually anyway, no matter how hard I try and end. But now on lap 15, or the end of lap 14 onto lap 15, we come into the pits, and also Lando Norris behind us coming to the pits as well. And we stay ahead of Norris, and Ricciardo gets past us, and George Russell and Hulkenberg are now going past us as well. So I believe we've lost a couple of places to them, but we have a lot fresher tyres, and these guys might actually be making another pit stop, so we might have a lot of track position in maybe around 10 laps or so, or like 5 to 10 laps maybe. But now we are going on to lap 15. We're caught up to the back of Russell through turn 9, losing the back end slightly, but that gives us a good run out of turn 9. We're going to put it into roof mix and overtake. We're going to go up the inside into turn 10 on George Russell. He sort of just turns into us, which is a little bit of a fault with the air. But I guess it's good because, you know, it gives you less space, you know, then not just turning out of the way to give you the position. But anyway, on to lap 20 now. We're going to fade to the inside and go back to the outside on Hulkenberg. We're trying to hold it around the outside of the German, and we get past into P8. Next up is his teammate Daniel Ricciardo, and hopefully we can get past him. Hulkenberg trying to fight back a bit here, but we hold the position because our Toro Rosso is decently quick. But now on lap 22, a few of the front runners have pitted, and now Bottas is behind us. We're now into P5, Bottas is behind us, and this is 4th position. So we're going to try and hold this guy behind us as much as we can, but Bottas just breezes past us on these fresh mediums, and it's just unfair at this point, I think. So we try and fight back, but we can't. We just have not got enough speed. But now on lap 27, Max Verstappen is trying to go up our inside, and he just once again just breezes past us, but he just slows down on race 9 on the exit of turn 4. But now we're going to go up the inside. I'm going to push him wide at turn 5, and we're going to get back the position into P6, which is it'd be good for us to finish ahead of a Red Bull. But now on to lap 28, Verstappen is coming back at us once again, and he's trying to go around our outside. I'm going to try and dive up the inside, try and push him maybe a little bit wide. We do push him wide, and we get the position back into P6. But now Verstappen is going to try and go up our inside. A very optimistic move by the Dutchman. But he gets it, and he gets up our inside, and that is us down into P7 behind Verstappen and ahead of Devon Butler. We're going to try and keep this battle going, but I don't think it's going to last for long, since that Red Bull is considerably better than our Toro Rosso, which is a shame. But, you know, coming on to the final lap, around the final corner now, we're going to come home for P7 in the Spanish Grand Prix, which is a decent result from P15. And, yeah, we set a faster lap, or our faster lap of the race in the process.
Take care of the car on the way in.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebration for the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. Let's see how the driver standings have changed.
Right, and there we have it then, the results for the Spanish Grand Prix. Obviously you can see Hamilton, Vettel, Gasly, Leclerc, Bottas, Verstappen, myself, Ricciardo, Butler and Romain Grosjean rounding out the top 10 for this race. We finished 43, or nearly 44 seconds behind the leader, which is a bit odd, but you know, we're a Toro Rosso, they're a Mercedes, so we can't really complain too much. We're going to go have a look at the championship standings, I believe. If I ever press A, yep, there we go. So we are currently 10th in the driver standings, behind Kevin Magnussen and ahead of Daniel Ricciardo with 14 points, and we are still 7th in the constructors, 3 points behind McLaren, I believe that was. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, obviously a decent result from where we started. Hopefully we can continue this run into Monaco, Canada, and France. But now Claire wants to talk to us.
Pretty happy with that. Devon did much better in today's race than he did in qualifying. Were you expecting that? You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you? Great. Well, that's everything.
Right, and there we are. That was our interview with Claire, asking us a few questions. I didn't really read what they were. I was just looking at something else because I can. But yeah, loading out of that Grand Prix. Looking back, was a decent race. There had some good battles in there, especially with some of the front runners like Verstappen and Vettel, I believe it was. But now our rivalry broke down. We're still ahead of Albon and we're ahead of Stroll. Stroll actually retired, so that's good for us. Again, our resource points, our reputation with our team and the other teams did pretty well. Our veteran status and our showmanship, sportsmanship. There we have an invitational event, which we're not going to do because there's no point in doing them. Interview transcript from Weber and from Den Butler. You know, I'm just gonna have a quick read of this. Well, I was having a quick read of it when I was recording at the time. But yeah, we've got nearly 1,400 resource points. So we're gonna probably spend them on probably engine upgrades, because you know that's the area of our car that I think is lacking the most, apart from aerodynamics. So maybe we invest in both. But I'm not quite sure. I don't even know if I invest in anything in this episode. I'd assume I would. But it doesn't look like I am. So yeah, anyway, that's going to be this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.